Hey, good evening, everybody. We're going to get started. I'm just going to give it a second so everybody can take a seat. I wanted to welcome you to Gilliland High School and our 8th grade Parents Information Night. I'm Mike Piscatelli. I'm the high school principal. Just so everybody knows, this whole presentation is being recorded. So it will be up on our YouTube channel. So if there's any information you missed or you want to re-review, you can certainly go and watch it again. So we're going to go through the purpose of this presentation, or what we try to tailor to mostly, is the typical questions you might have as you're thinking about the transition from 8th grade to 9th grade. Mostly about course selection, So we will go through, over the years, we've kind of narrowed it down to the most frequently things that people are wondering about, and that's the focus of our presentation. Now, following the presentation, though, there'll be a point where I'll ask the counselors and the instructional administrators to go to the large cafeteria, which is right down this hallway to my left. And there's going to be tables set up there, and they're going to be separated by department so that everybody has a chance. If there's something that we didn't answer for you tonight with the presentation, or if you have specific questions about a program or a class, you can ask those questions then and there. So I want to start, first of all, by just saying, listen, this is an exciting time to be coming to high school. One thing I'm very proud about this building is no matter what your child's area of interest is, there will be something for them here. The big thing, and again, I feel like I repeat myself when I'm talking to the incoming students, the big thing I just keep always stressing is you just got to get involved. Find out what you like, find out what you don't like. But the best way to feel a part of the community, and our motto is, we are Gilliland, we are one big community that we try to support and help each other, is to get involved in these activities, whether it be our music program, athletics, the clubs, the drama program. There's so many opportunities. We have 75, I think, different clubs that students can participate in, so there's a lot of opportunities. So I hope you get excited about it as you hear more about our programs, and you can pass that excitement on to your child. I'm going to start off with some introductions. First, I'm going to introduce our Farnsworth Middle School counselors. First, Chris Jaeger. Yes, we can clap for him. Ms. Danielle Heigel. Chris Labattaglia. And our high school counselors who will be here tonight to answer some questions. Well, first, Candace Galarno. Lynn Baumgartner. Ashley Kaplan. Lauren Gagnon. Amy Knapp. And Karen Murphy. And our instructional administrators who are going to talk specifically about their programs. I'm going to look over there. Bob Winans, music and art. Dr. Alex Finzel, English, social studies, reading. Mr. John Okama, who's math, science, and technology. Actually, Dr. Finzel, business too. Ms. McGrath will be there to answer questions about our business program. Dave Austin, our athletic director in physical education and health. Am I missing anybody? No, I think I got her. Oh, there, geez, you're hiding over there. Lauren Anderson, World Language and Cultures, and our E&L program. Sorry, Lauren. Wasn't looking that way. Okay, let me start. I'm going to first by handing off the microphone to Chris Labattaglia. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the transition activities. And Chris, we can use the mouse.
That works out. Awesome. Thank you. Good evening. So this is just a timeline of the way we as counselors are going to work with your students over kind of the second half of the year with picking out your students' high school schedule. So over the next couple of weeks, we will be pushing into all 8th grade classrooms to explain how this building functions, the scheduling, what classes students are going to be taking, as well as what classes the students will be allowed or get to choose as part of the scheduling process. Once we move past that presentation, there will be a gap in order to fill out a Google form that we will be posting in the house's Google Classrooms, and in that span, they will also have the opportunity to meet with their counselor and set up a meeting to ask any specific questions related to high school scheduling. On February 4th, we are bringing back a family drop-in over at FMS from 4 to 7 to sit and speak with either a middle school counselor or a high school counselor to discuss the course selection process. The Google form that I mentioned is due on February 6th. We give you guys as families and students about a month to discuss the classes that they want to choose. After those Google Forms get closed, we enter course requests into each student's course request section in the parent portal on eSchool. That portal is open for you guys as families to view the week we return back from that holiday break in February, for you guys to see the classes that your students have selected, and just to double check that everything that you guys want in there for 9th grade is correct, so that if there's mistakes, you can reach out to one of us so that we can make those amends. Final deadlines are due by March 27th so that we can lock in everything so that the high school gets a chance to run the schedules for the next academic year, just so that we can make sure that there are no conflicts heading out, so that we as counselors can communicate with your students of different choices that they may have to make if there's a conflict in that schedule. Some activities that we are doing in the second half of the year to kind of help prepare your students for the 9th grade. A parent handbook went out via email right when we returned from break. It has a lot of details of the process that we do here with your students as middle school counselors, as well as some important information for you guys as families to know. On April 20th, we will have a high school visit where all of our 8th graders will be transported here, and they will be led on tours as this building is kind of moving through its day, led by Guilderland High School students. There are also opportunities once we get closer to September in the end of August where you can request to have an individual or smaller group tours to also have your student get more familiar with the building here at GHS. We also offer a 9th grade orientation where the students get to run through their schedules and kind of see the feel of the high school. And I believe that's done with just 9th graders here, so it's just them without any pressure of the upperclassmen. So they get another find and feel of how this building works and where their classes are, as they move through the first few weeks here at GHS. Any information in terms of updates are posted on the GHS website, as well as some of these presentations. As we move through the high school scheduling process down at the middle school, we also have information posted on our counseling website through our middle school page. The last thing I just want to mention is while we do input course selection and course requests for 9th grade students, please note that there are not guarantees that every student will get everything that they choose. Some classes are based on a lottery. There are some classes that are highly popular where they fill up. So just know that there might have to be some backup plans for your students, but we will communicate that with your students and its families as we kind of run through those conflicts or different choices a student might have to make. And then I will be passing this off to Karen Murphy. Thank you.
Good to see everybody tonight. So supporting the 9th grade student, I also want you to kind of generally think, you're supporting your student really all 4 years, and of course beyond too, but 9th grade is really that next big transition in their education, like 6th grade, 5th grade to 6th grade, so 8th grade to 9th grade. There is that, I think that a little bit more support that families might see that they need to provide to their child. So, so some of the things, that I was kind of thinking about is parents often are a little bit more involved in ninth grade, still a little bit involved, in 10th grade in terms of that support, kind of managing their child, not incredibly too much, but we want to provide them some independence, but also we want to make sure we're kind of hovering around and making sure, are they being successful? We're checking, we're kind of verifying and clarifying. Those are really important things. As you're already doing now in 8th grade, you're going to do a little bit more of that in 9th grade as well. And as the years go on in high school, you're probably going to find, I don't have to do this as much because my child is becoming more independent, is handling school well, is doing the things that they're supposed to be doing in terms of, becoming academically successful and planning, for those next steps beyond high school. One of the things that, some simple, successful things that all students can start practicing in 8th grade and carry on to 9th grade, maybe this is something you can chat about at home, is start, if your child's not already, start that, how are you managing your homework? How are you managing your study time at home? Do you have those skills already built in? If not, because sometimes, some students are, they take a little bit more time to get there. We get that. But maybe that's something that they can start working on in 8th grade. So when they get to the high school, where things are a little bit more challenging academically, time-wise, they're ready for that. Teachers are a great resource, and they're always available after school, certain days of the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And we have some time for students to connect with teachers and get extra help. And sometimes it's a great place even just to complete homework assignments. You've got your teacher right there. You can ask some clarifying questions. You can get some extra help. Certainly preparing for tests and quizzes ahead of the game is also a great resource, seeing teachers after school. So we always encourage students to stay after school with teachers. It's really the best resource. So after school and middle school, and then continue that pattern when they get to high school. Sometimes students are a little reluctant to ask for help in 9th grade because they don't think they might need help in 9th grade. But that's where you come in as parents, and you can kind of just, you can see that. You can see where, okay, my child's really struggling. I think that they really need help. And when you see that, one of the best, again, resources, you can always connect with the counselor. We're always going to be, available to check in. But directly connecting with the teacher, your child's teacher, is really the best resource. So emailing is the best way to connect with teachers, and checking in. And sometimes that simple check-in really does a lot. So in the evening, sometimes that famous question, what's the famous question? Do you have homework tonight? And some people hear, nope, no homework. And some people hear yes. So that's going to happen again in high school. Do you have homework tonight? And chances are your child is going to have some homework from one of their classes that they had that day. And if it's not, by chance, if there's no homework in that particular day that child had, there might be other things that they can do. There's reviewing of notes, preparing for that next class that they're going to go to. That is technically homework you're reviewing. Or I know that there's a test coming or a quiz coming 2 or 3 days in advance. How do I prepare for that? What are my study skills, and how do I get going on just starting that review? There are also several classes that have long-term projects. So, having that calendar where, you're kind of putting those future dates out there and then prepping for that. We do encourage that greater level of independence, and we, when students get here, they do see, that's a big thing that often students will say, one of the biggest things that they notice between the middle school and the high school is a little bit more freedom and a lot more independence, and that's good. They're moving on, they're getting older, and we want to afford that independence for them. But with that independence, there's still some level, obviously, of monitoring and, checking in and all of that. So, always, connect with your child, continue to connect with your child. There's a lot going on with social media. Less now that we have no phones in school. We definitely have felt there's, that has tamped down quite a bit, which does help with conflicts and so forth. We do see conflicts and we address those, immediately when they happen, but that still might happen. Self-advocacy is a huge skill for students to practice, to learn and practice. So, asking questions either in class, definitely after class if they don't feel comfortable, maybe raising their hand in front of their classmates, maybe initially in the beginning of the year, but as the year moves on, definitely we want students to be participating more. Staying after, asking teachers, coming to see their counselor, hey, I don't know how to handle this, or I have this question, or it can be anything. So we always encourage that, and we meet with students regularly throughout the year, especially in 9th grade, and parents, to to make sure we're all on the same page and we can answer all of your questions. One of the things that you'll know if your child hasn't made a mistake yet in school, they might in high school. So hopefully those mistakes aren't big, and some mistakes happen, and they can be a little uncomfortable on occasion. But these are opportunities for students to learn from those mistakes, and okay, what do I do the next time, or how do I figure this out? Who are my resources in school? So if I am confronted with this situation again, who can I go to that can help problem solve? We have obviously counselors, we have administrators, we have social workers, we have school psychologists. Teachers are very well connected to their students. So we have a lot of adult resources here in the school. So, we encourage students to seek us out, when sometimes trouble happens. And again, we'll find that students will often, or sometimes I should say, sometimes there's a change in friend groups, as the student gets older. So from middle school to high school, your child might be in different classes than that they had in middle school. And so they have maybe starting a new friend group because they're with students that they haven't really hung out with before. They didn't have them in class in middle school. So that's something to, talk about and just be prepared that sometimes that does change. And it's not always, a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing that, that friend group maybe expands or maybe changes slightly. So this slide and the next slide, don't worry about it. That's all I have to say. It's okay. We're going to meet with you. We meet with every family in grade 9, and we go over the requirements for high school, and we are tracking this information. We are monitoring it. We are communicating with parents and students, throughout the 4 years. It does look like there's a lot, but all of this is very manageable, and students do fine for the most part. There's some students who struggle, and we help them and get them going and get them moving on. So you'll see that there are just, some subjects that are all 4 years, some are 3 years, and though they will be scheduled in their program grades 9 through 12, and for some students they're accelerated in math and science, so that might alter when they take things later down the road. And if a student is not accelerated in math and science, that's fine. They can easily get everything in the 4 years with really no problem. Okay, in addition to those graduation requirements that are related to the courses, there's also testing or Regents exam requirements, and this is related to the type of diploma that your child will eventually earn. So diploma, we're talking, we got some time. So we plan in grade 9 for the diploma that your child will likely earn when they graduate from high school, but sometimes there's a shift later down the road depending on the Regents exams, and if a student if they're not successful in a upper level Regents exam, then sometimes they will earn a Regents diploma. But there's two main types of diplomas that New York State has. That's the Regents diploma with those 5 Regents exams, and then the advanced with the additional ones. And we will map all of this out when we meet with you in grade 9, so you'll know, okay, my child's taking this course, and this is when they're going to take this Regents exam. And it's spread over basically the first 3 years of high school. So the first 3 years of high school, all of those exam requirements are typically fulfilled. Okay, I am introducing Mr. Winans for arts. Oop, I'll take that.
Thank you. We're going to see how fast I can talk because I am supposed to start a meeting at 7 o'clock in another location. So, over the course of your child's 4 years here, they will need to complete 1 credit of fine arts. As you can see, we've got a variety of different classes that they can do, either in visual arts, music, dance, theater, and there's even a technology course that completes this credit as well. So for 9th grade, if your child is currently involved in ensemble music, that's band, chorus, orchestra at the middle school, they can continue those ensembles at the high school. Those ensembles are half a credit per year, so they would need to do that in 9th and 10th grade to complete the full 1 credit requirement, unless they are in 2 ensembles. So students are allowed to be in both vocal ensemble and an instrumental ensemble, so they can do chorus and they can do orchestra. And we do have higher level ensembles that they can audition for in their freshman year, but all of our freshmen take one of these 3 ensembles: symphonic band, mixed chorus, or concert orchestra. And the way that they work is they are half block ensembles. So if we have an 80-minute block, they're a 40-minute class. And so if they were in a vocal ensemble and an instrumental ensemble, they would do the instrumental in the first half of the block, the vocal ensemble in the second half of the block. If they are not in both a vocal and an instrumental ensemble in the second half of the block opposite their ensemble, they could either take a study hall or be enrolled in our health option, which is a course that's designed to complete their health requirement, but fits in the half block opportunity that is opposite the ensemble that they're in. Other courses that meet the fine arts requirement in the music category are music technology, which is using digital tools in a project-based environment to make music. Our music in our lives class, which is very similar to what they're already doing at the middle school in terms of being more like a general music class. And our music theory and composition course, which I will say that if your child's not already a musician, they may be a piano player, they may not actually be involved in ensemble music if they're a piano player mainly or a guitar player or something like that. But they really do need to have a musical background to find success in that class. For art in 9th grade, we have a variety of options, but there are only 3 courses that actually meet the fine arts credit requirement, and that's our studio and art class, our studio in creative crafts, and studio in the media arts. So if a student were to take one of those courses, then they would fulfill their fine arts credit requirement. We have some other art electives that do not meet this requirement. We have sculpture, art and game design, studio and photography, and studio and film. For our 9th graders, if they are interested in taking an art class at the high school, we do encourage them to start off with one of our studio classes, and for a variety of reasons. One of them is that it's going to get that fine arts credit requirement out of the way in 9th grade so that they're going to be completely done with that so that they don't have to worry about it when they're an upperclassman and it opens up more options to them. So it is the prerequisite course for any of our intermediate and upper level art courses. So by taking that as a ninth grader, it opens up those options later on down the road. Now we do have studio and art, advanced studio and art that happens at the middle school. So for any student who is enrolled in that, that's a before school, it happens before the school day over at the middle school, and so it's a very small number of students who actually fall in this category. But if your child is one of those students, then technically their fine arts credit requirement is already done. They don't have to complete any fine arts credits at the high school. However, we would love to see them in a fine arts class. But it also opens up their options as a ninth grader. In addition to all the classes I already mentioned, they are also eligible for our intermediate level art courses, including drawing and painting, graphic design, creative ceramics 1, cartooning, animation, and fashion illustration and design. I believe this presentation is going to be sent out at some point, so when it is, this right here is a link to that will go into a lot more detail about a lot of our art courses. And also, on the slide that talked about the two different types of degrees, the Regents and the Advanced Regents, there is an option to do an Advanced Regents with a 5 course sequence in either music and or art. So it can be a combination of music and art, or just all music courses or all art courses. So we have a variety of different coursework that would make, meet that qualification. And the big question we get is, can I take music and art? And the answer is yes. It's easy to fit both in, but if you are the parent of a child who is very interested in both music and art, then we can make that work.
I've got some slides up here kind of talking about the options for athletic programs as your child moves into the high school, but obviously also lead the phys ed and health department. So I want to start with just some quick notes about PE and health, and we'll start with PE. You saw a slide earlier. Your child is required to get 2 credits of physical education for graduation, and it's a half credit course each year. So that's how they can get to 2, by taking a half credit of PE each year. There are other options that I'll talk about in a second as well. As a ninth grader, chances are your child is going to enroll in general PE. I'll talk about an elective in a second that is an option for ninth graders, but most of our ninth graders will go right into general PE. And PE is separated by grade level here at Guilderland High School, so the 9th and 10th graders take PE together, and the 11th and 12th graders take PE together. Not every school does it like that. I happen to like that we do it that way, so we don't have any 9th graders in the gym or in the locker rooms with the big bad seniors. So, that's always a good thing, in my opinion. So, yeah, we ask, for PE, we ask our students come to class with appropriate footwear for activity. Other than that, they are not required to change at the high school. We give them the option to do that. We have locker rooms that are still open at the beginning and the end of class for students to change if they'd like. But bare minimum that they need is just to have appropriate footwear. And I know our phys ed teachers do have extra pairs of sneakers. If your child forgets one day, they have the option to still earn the credit and get the appropriate footwear on. As far as grading, I won't go into too much detail, but grading in PE is based on attendance, being prepared, giving good effort, and being respectful. That's really what it comes down to. It's not about being the best athlete. It's not about being the strongest, the fastest. It's about things that really, your child has 100, and it's theirs to lose. And they lose at 100 if they're not showing up with appropriate footwear, they're not being respectful to teachers or their peers, they're not giving good effort, they're standing around, not giving anything a try. That's how we grade in a nutshell. So, I will say I think we offer an outstanding high school PE program. Our phys ed teachers are spectacular at what they do. They offer a variety of activities, a wide range of activities, and there's a ton of student choice involved in our PE classes. But we do know that PE is not everybody's favorite course at the high school. I understand that. We recognize that. So in response, we are starting to expand our menu of options for our kids to earn PE credit while at GHS. Like I said, most of the ninth graders will go right into that 9-10 general PE. But ninth graders do have the option to elect to take an elective, PE. It's called Choreography of Dance, one semester, and Dance Styles in the other semester. So students who enroll in both of these electives, so one per semester, may choose to have this count as their PE credit or their arts credit, all right? Not both. They have to make that choice, and they can do that with their counselor. So that's one elective that could get PE credit for a ninth grader who's maybe not wishing to go into 9-10 PE. But for the most part, like I said, our ninth grader is going to be in that class, and we want them to experience general PE first, see what it's like. As they get into 10th, 11th, 12th grade, they even get some more options for phys ed. In addition to the choreography of dance and dance styles electives, 10th through 12th graders may also choose to enroll in Strength and Conditioning 1 and Strength and Conditioning 2. This is a fairly new elective we've done the last couple of years. Each elective is a semester class. I think this year we've got two Strength and Conditioning 1 sections in semester 1, and we've got 2 Strength and Conditioning 2 sections in semester 2. It's in the morning. It's a pretty cool opportunity if kids want to get in there every other day for a full semester for 80+ minutes. Our strength and conditioning coach, Gary Bowl, does an outstanding job in the weight room and has really developed a fine program in there. So those are going to be an option for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. We do have a prerequisite for students to take Strength and Conditioning 1 before they're allowed to take Strength and Conditioning 2. And I will say that you know, these are not just electives for athletes. I will say some of our athletes take advantage of that opportunity. They get in there, they get a workout in the morning. But, you know, there are many, many careers in the field of health and fitness. And so, you know, Gary and I are always talking, you know, hey, what's your class looking like? And he'll always say it's not just the athletes in there. It's kids that are passionate about health and fitness. They might want to explore a career in that field as a personal trainer. Or there's a number of different careers. So we're excited about that elective. Also an option for 10th, 11th, 12th graders for phys ed. We offer unified phys ed here at the high school. It is required to have a teacher recommendation for your child to have that as an option on their schedule in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. But unified PE is just it's an inclusive PE class that unites our student athletes who are individuals with intellectual disabilities and partners who are individuals without intellectual disabilities. And together they explore a wide variety of activities. It's a great opportunity for students of varying ability levels to learn together on equal terms through fitness, sports, leadership, and wellness activities. It is without a doubt one of the best programs that we have here at Guilderland. We not only offer unified physical education, but we also offer unified sports in each of the seasons, fall, winter, and spring. And we've actually started that at the middle school too. Unified PE is now down at the middle school. So that's another option for 10th through 12th graders. I also wanted to mention something that we're excited about in the world of PE. We recently had renovations completed in November in our Project Adventure, I call it Project Adventure course here at the high school and at the middle school. Our district, we're fortunate, they put a good amount of funds into some renovations, some new cool things. I know at the high school here in the East Gym, we've got some high rope elements in this course. We also have some low rope elements. So we're excited about that. Some of your kids will be able to participate in those activities in phys ed class. I know the PE teachers and myself are already kind of bouncing back and forth. Our next elective, adventure education, could be a great, great elective that we can add to the menu. So we're talking about that right now. We're starting to planning, but that could be, down the line, another option for your child to take versus general PE to get PE credit. So I just wanted to mention that. Health, required to take once, and that is a half credit. You know, it's primarily open to 10th through 12th graders. On occasion, we're running into some scheduling issues with a 9th grader. We might, on occasion, fit in a health class. But to be honest with you, they're taking health in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at Farnsworth. So my recommendation is take health if we can in 10th and 11th grade. They just got it 3 consecutive years. They're still growing. They're still, they're getting bigger. Let them experience high school. And for the most part, 10th and 11th graders are enrolled in our health classes. But like I said, if we run into scheduling issues, we are certainly willing to assist our counselors with that. Okay, quickly about athletics. Chances are your child has already participated in this program. Actually, we had 1,177 students in grades 7 through 12 last year participate in at least one sport. That is 53% of our 7th through 12th grade population. That is a huge number. We are proud of that number. 27% of our students in 7th through 12th grade participated in 2 sports, at least 2 sports. So I think that's absolutely incredible. As your child advances into high school, becomes a 9th grader, the options, they're going to expand for athletics. We offer 21 different sports for our female athletes and 19 different sports for our male athletes. Overall, there's 42 teams levels for males, 41 teams levels for females. That's a ton of teams. It's a ton of sports. We offer pretty much everything that any other school in Section 2 offers. Plenty of different sports to choose from over the course of the 3 seasons. You see up here the options in the fall. I'm not going to read them all to you. Some of the options that will be new to the 9th grader or could potentially be new to the 9th grader. Game day cheer is a new one for 9th through 12th graders. Boys and girls golf is a new one. Girls swimming and diving. Girls tennis, all new. I mentioned earlier about having an option for unified sports. We have unified bocce in the fall. As we shift to the winter, I won't read all of them, but some new options for 9th graders: competitive cheer in the winter, bowling, gymnastics. We have boys and girls wrestling. I know we have modified boys wrestling, but we don't have a modified girls team yet. But the girls can wrestle when they get in 9th grade. We have unified bowling in the winter. We have an ice hockey team. We're merged with 5 teams. It's us, Voorheesville, Mahonis, Chalmont, and Scotia form the Storm. So we have ice hockey as an option. Cross-country ski, Nordic ski. That's another sport that's not offered at a ton of schools. We do offer that here, and we have a ton of kids that take advantage of that. Boys and girls indoor track, that's a new option for 9th through 12th graders, and boys swimming and diving as well. And last but not least, our spring. New options, again, for 9th through 12th graders. Boys tennis, girls flag football, unified basketball. Those are they're all going to be new options as kids get into the high school. And just a few things about our sports programs. First off, how do you sign up for sports? If your child's played, you kind of understand how we do things here with signups. I will generally send a Google sign-up form out to all 7th through 12th graders about a month before the start of the sports season, just to get general interest for our coaches. I can kind of organize a directory for them so they can start contacting you with some information. So the Google form will go out, and that is generally going to be followed by a sign-up document, a Google document that's got everything in there that you need to know, all of the sports options each season, the forms, the links to the forms, everything. I will email that document to all 7th through 12th graders, and I'll also blast it out to all students and parents via Parent Square as well. Generally sending that out multiple times just to make sure you guys get that. So that's how we sign up. But there's 3 required forms to participate in athletics. The athletic form, the health history update form, and a required physical. It needs to be on file that is dated no more than 1 year prior to the start of the sports season. So those are the requirements to be cleared to participate. So when you see those the communication come out from me, it's best not to wait. Don't wait to the last minute, because sometimes the nurses get a stack of paperwork, and if your child's paperwork is at the bottom of that stack, they may or may not be cleared by the time the tryouts start on day 1. So another thing I want to mention quickly, and I know we talk a lot with our coaches about this, attendance matters. We do send out attendance reports out of our office every day around noon. And we do have an attendance policy here. The kids need to be in school to be eligible for athletics. There are rules for that. So, we are checking that. Kids not in school is not going to be able to come in at 3:30 and go to basketball practice. All right, they've got to be in school. They are student athletes, students first. So attendance matters. Also, would be remiss if I didn't mention the athletic code of conduct, the responsibilities and expectations for our student athletes. they're expected to conduct themselves at all times in a manner which reflect positively on our school, on our community, and on you guys. And so, you know, it's important to remember that participation in athletics is a privilege. And, you know, if our athletes aren't doing the things that they need to do in school, out of school, on the playing field, it's a privilege that can be taken away from them. So it's important that, you know, our kids are always projecting the best versions of themselves, because we expect a ton out of our student athletes. Last but not least, I know we always have a slide about this, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if your child's interested in playing Division I or Division II athletics, and I hope there's a bunch of them in this room, you have a bunch of them at home, speak with your high school counselor as you enter 9th grade, and just to make sure that, you know, your child's taking the appropriate courses, and so, you know, making sure, you know, you're earning the best grades possible. There's no special Division I or Division II class that they have to enroll in here. I know I get that question from time to time. Just speak with your counselor, make sure they're aware of your child's aspirations so you're on track to be eligible to do so. So that's it for me. If you got any questions for me, I will be out in the cafeteria, but right now I'm introducing Mr. John Okama, Instructional Administrator for Math, Science, and Tech. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Austin. Hello, fellow parents. My name is John Okama, Instructional Administrator for Math, Science, and Technology. I'm going to ask you to humor me before I jump into this slide. Could everybody just put their hand up? Put one hand up as high as you can. Could you stretch that arm out? Yeah, there we go. Stretch just one hand. And could you turn your palm like this? And could you give yourself a nice pat on the back? Well done. You made it to high school. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. This is an exciting place to be. Who here is excited to come to high school? Are we excited to come to the high school? Okay, you've come to a good place. You've come to a good place. And who here has enjoyed FMS? Another great school. Yes, I was just there earlier today. So if you're coming from Farnsworth Middle School, you've probably taken either 8th grade math and science, or maybe you've been in the accelerated program with algebra and biology. Either way, as you come to the high school, if you are in Math 8, you'll move into Algebra 1 across the board, all our 9th graders. If you are in Science 8, you'll move into Biology, across the board, all our 9th graders. We have some high-quality, competent, capable, kind-hearted teachers here, and you have landed in a good spot. If you are ahead of the game a little bit, if you're in the accelerated program and you're taking algebra already, you'll move into either Regents Geometry or Honors Geometry. If you are enrolled in biology, you'll move into either Regents Earth and Space Sciences or Honors Earth and Space Sciences. And this is a good time for me to just talk a little bit about this honors level thing. I might not read everything on this slide here, but I probably will pick up a couple pieces here in terms of honors level classes. This is for students who are let me read some of this, who have the ability to apply abstract concepts to various situations, who take a lot of initiative in their studies, who are self-reliant, who will seek extra help when they need it, who actively participate, and who contribute regularly. I would say taking all honors classes might be a heavy lift as you move through high school. It is not something to consider too lightly. But we do have a lot of opportunities and a lot of areas for growth. If you are a student who is steady as you go, that's okay. You can move along the way and progress as you go. If you are a student who is already accelerated and eager to pursue this, we have those opportunities here. I was talking to a number of teachers over the past couple days. I told them that I was going to meet with a room full of 8th grade parents, and what should I convey to them? And one of them said one thing that stuck with me. It was that, well, tell them that parents raise kids and teachers raise adults. And that resonated with me for a little bit because we know you've brought your kids a long way, and we are seeking to help them become the people they will become and to leave this place as contributing citizens who are capable, competent, creative, and they have a lot of opportunities to do so. I also wanted to give a plug. Some teachers told me, tell them about Google Classroom. Who here is already familiar with Google Classroom? Good, over half. That is great. Has anyone had their child walk them through Google Classroom? Like, take me on a tour. Okay, some, not as many. But I would encourage, and I'm giving everyone permission, as your students come to high school, say, oh, son, daughter, take me on a little tour of Google Classroom, and have them show you assignments they have. And the reason I say this is teachers set them up in different ways. Some teachers like to put the oldest thing first, and they move progressively forward. Some teachers like putting the newest material first. Some teachers group things by assignment. Some teachers group things by topic. Have them walk you through Google Classroom. This is a way for you to support your students, and as ninth graders especially, as they navigate the nuances and the rigor of high school, this is a fantastic way to support them from your end and to help them be successful here. So there's two things that teachers ask that I plug, and so I wanted to make sure to do that. If I move us, I'm not going to read every one of our math progressions here, but I wanted to give you a sense of the options and the opportunities that students have as they move beyond Algebra 1. You have some fine counselors here. They will help navigate this as we go. I don't remember what Mrs. Murphy said before. Don't dwell too much on this, right? But all these options are here as your students progress through. They have opportunities to earn some college credit before they leave high school. I am one whose children I have some older kids, but they took advantage of some of this, left high school with some college credits. There are great opportunities both in math and in science, and in our other subjects as well. If I skip us ahead through the progressions or the sequences that you can take through science, again, everybody starts with biology, and then things branch off a little bit. Typical sequences, biology to earth and space sciences to chemistry, and then we have a lot of options for physics as well. We also have a number of electives, meteorology, some health courses, physical therapy, forensics, all sorts of opportunities that your students could take advantage of as they move through high school. Specific to computer science, if you have a computer scientist in your home. The base level course, or the one that everyone starts with, is Computer Science Principles, though we do have some that can just move to Intro to Game Design without a prerequisite. But the CSP course is what leads you to some of the higher level computer courses, programming in Python, in Java, and you can actually earn some AP credit if you're on that computer science route as well. And again, I'm kind of giving you the overview. This is all available on our curriculum guide, and you will be walked through all these options as your son or daughter moves through the high school progression. Lastly, I also oversee the technology department. The Project Lead the Way program is our pre-engineering program. Is anybody already involved in some technology at the middle school? Okay, I see a handful. Excellent. If you have not been, this is a great course to start with. Ninth graders can enroll in Design and Drawing for Production. That is the introduction to all our engineering courses. And then these courses below, the typical sequences from left to right, but because there is a high demand for a lot of these, you do not need to go in any particular order as long as you start with your Design and Drawing for Production. This is a really popular program. Sometimes that's why the order shifts a little bit, but we have lots of opportunities through our technology department as well. I think I've kept it short and sweet for today. I will be in the cafeteria as well to answer some specific questions, but if before I go, you could put your one hand back in the air again for me. Just one hand. And with your other hand, could you slap that hand 5 times and introduce Mr. Dr. Fincel for English, Social Studies, Reading, Library, Business.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to apologize in advance because I'm not the most polished public speaker, and if I screw up, please forgive me. So I've done this 10 times. Stuff up there usually remains the same, and every time I think to myself, what am I going to do? What do I want to say? And kind of what we expect our kids to do independently by the end of high school is to constantly think, constantly revise, constantly question and change what they do to be the best version of themselves. So earlier today, we were at the middle school, and we were talking about a lot of great stuff with literacy. And I'm just going to steal a definition because I think it best reflects what our English program aspires to do from a complete picture. Again, English can be a little misleading. It's not about a cup of tea or the Union Jack, but more appropriately, it's the ability to read, write, speak, and listen as a means of identification, understanding, interpretation, creation, and communication. It's the ability to communicate in diverse ways and with diverse audiences, and it's the ability to understand and use print in an increasingly text-mediated, information-rich, digital, and fast-changing world. That's the sum totality of the English program, even though it's called English. And I will say, this is a little bit pompous of me, but I will say I think English is probably the most important discipline, because it's not about English itself, it's about everything. Because the better you're able to communicate, to research, to write, to read, to think, to engage with others, that makes everything else a lot easier. Whether you're science-minded, business-minded, math-minded, history-minded, it opens more doorways everywhere else. And if you're like an English nerd, that's okay too, because we like them as well. So for 9th grade, we have English 9 Regents, English 9 Honors, and we have English 9 Aligned, and I'll talk about Aligned in a little bit. Everyone's got to take at least 4 credits of English over the entire career of the high school. We have so many wonderful college credit opportunities, and English is like a buffet. We have a little bit of everything for everyone, okay? And I'll be answering some specific questions about English afterwards in the cafeteria. Very closely connected to English is our reading program. If your student might struggle in some of the basic aspects of reading, writing, decoding, maybe your student lacks a little bit of confidence in being able to express themselves or needs to kind of work a little bit on their fluency, we strongly encourage kids to take literacy tutorial. We have it for a half a semester or a whole semester. A lot of kids think that, oh, I don't need to take reading, but actually when they're able to work very closely with our reading teachers and reading TAs, they're in a very different environment. They're more confident to share and express and reflect and grow, which can be very different if they're in a class of, say, 20 to 30 students and they don't want to participate because nobody wants to be wrong. So if your guidance counselor or your current reading teacher recommends reading, I would strongly encourage you to pursue that. And if you have a question about your son or daughter and they might not have the kind of confidence, say something to your guidance counselor and we can provide more opportunities for your kids to do some skill building and gain some confidence. Social studies. I love social studies. I'm biased because I used to teach social studies. And social studies is not just about history. It's about trying to help all students become the very best citizens once they go out into the world, to be good thinkers, good decision makers, to be involved, to be good advocates, not just for themselves, but for the members of their community. Social studies, we have 4 credits that students have to take. 9th grade, it's global history. 9, it's kind of the Stone Age, all the way up until the age of exploration. We have a Regents, an Honors, and an Aligned pathway for that. 10th grade is the second part of world history, which picks up at the age of exploration and comes all the way to the present. 11th grade, God bless you. 11th grade is U.S. history, and in our senior year, students have to take a half year economics and a half year of government. Similar to English, we have a lot of wonderful electives that are also college credit bearing, a lot of new ones, and kind of some new, not new ones. So next year, our psychology elective will now be offered for college credit. We have a women's history for college credit. We have black history. We have college government. We have criminal justice. And there's a lot more I don't want to rattle off, but maybe I want to just pique your curiosity so that you'll come ask me, what more do you have, when we have the time to meet together in the cafeteria. Another thing too I want to put on the radar, it's downstream. Remember, we're focusing on 9th grade right now. We also have a opportunity for students to earn the Civic Seal of Readiness through our Teacher Corps program, and that's probably the hallmark of the aspiration to be involved in one's own community. So students learn to be good, active citizens by actually working with our elementary and middle school kids through the vehicle of education to explore what's going on. Kids dealing with cyberbullying or technology, self-esteem. So they learn how to make a difference through the vehicle of teaching, and that's something else that your son or daughter, if interested, can pursue years down the road. Before I go on, two little things I just want to touch upon. Next week is our honors performance test in social studies and English. That's going to be Tuesday and Friday. So that's just really important. Kids come in, they do a standards-based written assessment, and we can talk more about the other aspects that go into it in the cafeteria if you'd wish. And then the other thing too I mentioned was our aligned program. One of the things I think our department is the most proudest for, see again, I'm social studies, not English, is our interdisciplinary work together. Aligned is intended for two teachers to work very close together so that they have a lot of English and social studies and vice versa. But I will say too, we have a lot of interdisciplinary work in our regular Regents, honors, and AP. One of the hallmarks for every 9th grade is that all of our English classes have a common September 11th experience. They read about that event, they read a novel together, they go to the New York State Museum, they look at the artifacts there, they go up to the Corning Tower to try to get an understanding of what it might have been to be up in the air and the events of September 11th. And those are the kinds of things that we're working really hard in social studies and English, where things are working together for the richest experience possible for your sons and daughters. And last but certainly not least is business. And I would like to call the real brains of the business department our teacher leader, Joan McGrath, and two amazing students, Anish and Doric. If you want to come up, they're going to speak to some of the particulars of business. So before I hand this off right quick, I know the focus is 9th grade, and there's 4 long years to do a lot of maneuvering. But like with any good instruction, I want just to plant this seed to think about, plan for the end in mind, right? You got time, but think about what you want to do and give yourself space, all right? A bachelor's in business administration is the most popular degree amongst undergraduates, and it's growing, all right? We have a fantastic business program here where students can graduate with that pathway. Now, again, some kids like, I'm going to be an accountant. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. But in addition to that, maybe you want to be a nurse. Maybe you want to be an English teacher. Maybe you want to be a doctor. You want to be an electrician. Guess what? If you're thinking about other things to help out, I don't want you to lose sight of this, because I want you to think about the practical value in having a business pathway, because it's about life skills for finance, life skills in the workforce, life skills to work with each other. And regardless of the path you take, that's just an amazing enhancement to not look past. So I'm going to let our awesome teacher leader here talk to some of the important particulars you should think about in 9th grade for business, and then we're going to round it out with our 2 amazing students.
Thank you, Dr. Finzel, and thank you all for being here tonight, and I look forward to hopefully seeing a lot of your students in some of our business classes over the next 4 years. So in our business program, the things that I want to highlight are that we have 18 and newly approved 19 classes. We just got the first College Board AP business course approved this year, thanks to Dr. Finzel and Mr. Piscatelli and our school board. And that helps you and your students start to experience our business courses in from a bigger perspective. So we have 19 courses, 7 of which are college credit courses. Students can graduate with a lot of college credit if they so choose in coming out of the business department. We have 2 excellent business students here, Doric and Anish, who are not only students in our classes, but they're also members of our Business Advisory Council. So they are members who help to shape what we're trying to provide to the student body overall. Within the 19 courses, we have what we call a CTE pathway, as Dr. Finzel alluded. This pathway provides your students with a launching pad to success if they choose. And it emphasizes a broad range of different things that students will use in their lifetime. One of the foundational courses for that is a career and money course. The career and money course is intended to provide students with a little time to explore career options, whatever career options they might have, as well as introduce them to financial concepts that they'll use over their entire lifetime. I think we have a total of 3.5 credits that are required in the pathway, but as I think Dr. Winans had mentioned, you can also take a sequence that can provide you an advanced designation on your diploma by taking 5 credits within the business course offerings. I will be next door along with our students, and we have some information on the courses, any types of things that you would be interested in knowing about the courses. And I think last thing that I would like to emphasize with regard to the courses, as Dr. Finzel said, anything that your students are interested in pursuing, they can culminate their high school experience by doing an internship. We have an internship program here at the high school that provides students with the opportunity to take a 1-semester class and explore any career that they're interested in pursuing. So if you're interested in being a nurse, I've had students work in the ER at Albany Med. I've had students that have participated in orthoscopic surgeries. I've had students that have done internships in education. You name it, they've done it. So let me just turn it over to these guys because they can provide you with a student perspective on business.
Hi everyone, my name's Anish,
My name's Doric.
and we're both juniors taking college accounting right now. And one thing we would like to emphasize on is the CTE program we have at Guilderland. And currently, Doric and I are trying to get our CTE stamp on our diploma right now. So the things you have to do for that are take, there's, I believe, 3 specific requirements you need. You need to take career and financial management. We need to take CEIP, the internship program Ms. McGrath was talking about, or WEP. And you have to take college accounting or normal accounting or real life math. And then you have to get 1.5 credits or 3 semester-long classes of the following listed right there. And one thing we would like to realize is that we wish that we got this opportunity to focus on CTE earlier on. Doric and I both didn't know about the CTE program until well after 9th grade, maybe in our 10th grade year. And then I believe that's when both of us started wanting to get into business as we, progressed through high school and wanted to figure out what we would do with the rest of our lives.
And like Mr. Finzel and our teacher, Ms. McGrath, are emphasizing that we don't know what we want to pursue sometimes in 9th grade, sometimes in 10th grade. But this pathway, you don't have to be, once you get started with these classes, you don't have to be committed with them. This is we give you these options so you can experience them. The classes that we provide, career money skills, these kids are coming to the high school, but after the high school, they're going to have to enter the real workforce where they're going to need these skills. And these classes provide the skills that they'll need to be successful way beyond just the high school. And working towards this, Mia and Anish are working towards our CTE pathway so we can this is also something special our school provides, where when we graduate, we get a certificate for completing this pathway. And I think it's genuinely a really great opportunity for our students to take.
I told you they were the brains of the department. So thank you for your time. I'm going to now introduce our instructional administrator for World Language and Culture, Madame Lauren Andersson.
Good evening, everybody. I have 2 slides to share with you. I don't have a lot of new information because most of your students have already started on their world language path. When they started in 6th grade, they're already working towards their first high school credit. So if they're taking French, Spanish, or Italian at the middle school, they're already working on this pathway. So I have told you I have 2 slides. This is my favorite one. Okay, this spring, your child is going to take the Checkpoint A exam. So when I'm talking about they're taking language in 8th grade, there's 2 components to that. They have to pass the coursework, and then they have to pass the exam on this date. There is no makeup exam for this until the following year. So I'm sharing, this is your first reminder of a few that you'll get from me this spring about how important it is that your child takes this exam and passes it. Passing this is earning their first credit. The sooner they can earn their credits, the more opportunities and options they'll have for electives down the road in high school. So I'm proud of Guilderland that we're working on this first credit in middle school because it allows students more opportunity as they move through high school. Once they've passed their first credit in middle school, most students continue on in the same language, on the same world language pathway through high school. So here's the courses outlined. When they meet with their counselors in 9th grade, they'll talk more about, options past 9th grade, but it's just important for you to know that they're working on their first credit this year in middle school, and as they move forward, they'll keep working on their credits, and those are through the pathways. All right, thank you very much. All right, I have Mr. Piscatelli to wrap it up for us.
Okay, I'm going to ask our counselors and our instructional administrators to make their way to the large cafeteria. Before we kind of wrap up this presentation, I just want to review our block schedule. We're in discussions. Every building has what's called a building cabinet, which is our shared decision-making body. It's made up of students, teachers, administrators, and parents. And what we're trying to do is we've been talking about our schedule for a long time, and we're trying to look at our schedule and figure out ways to build some flexibility into it. But right now, this is what our schedule is. It's 84-minute blocks, and we have 4 blocks a day. We follow an A, B, C, D. Classes are going to be on an everyday rotation, which means it's either going to be an AC class or a BD class. The only exceptions to that are our science classes, which are mainly the science classes that have labs built into it. All our Regent science classes or honors or college level science classes meet 3 out of 4 days. Third block, which is 35 minutes. We have 4 lunch mods during the day, so we have one that starts right at the beginning at 10:57 and one that goes closer to 12:30, and then we have 2 that are in the middle. As they were talking about, Ms. Murphy was talking about the after-school period. Our activity period is 2:28 to 3:10. We have late buses on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. As she said, it's a tremendous opportunity to get help. And unfortunately, I don't think enough students take advantage of that time after school to get extra help from our teachers. If you see your child struggling at all, that's the first go-to place, is go and see your teacher after school. And while we're talking about just success in the high school, if there's one thing I could point to that is the most important thing, and it's the thing that torpedoes students the most, it's attendance. If students get in a habit of missing, remember, chronically absent students, it doesn't take much to hit that chronically absent student status. It's 10% of our days, which means if you hit 18 days a year, because we have 180 days in the school year, if you hit 18 days, you're chronically absent. And we have a lot of students that are chronically absent in this district. And that's about 5 days a quarter that you get into that danger area. And the reason why I emphasize this as you're thinking about transitioning to high school, Because of block scheduling, missing a day is a big deal. You're basically missing 2 classes every time you miss a day. So it takes a lot to get caught up. So I'm just saying, listen, I'm never going to encourage you to send your child to school sick. That's not what I'm talking about it. But unfortunately, we have too many times where students get in this habit of just taking days off. And it really comes back to bite them when they're trying to stay on top of their coursework. So I really encourage you to be here as much as possible. You know, the last thing I'll say before we break with this is, Ms. Murphy mentioned this again. At the high school, we are just like the middle school. We are cell phone free. The only difference at the high school is that we have the Yonder pouches. So when your child comes into 9th grade, they will be issued a Yonder pouch. Every day when the students walk in, they have to show that their phone is locked up in the pouch at the end, and they cannot take their phone out of that. It's locked until the very end of the day. At the end of the day, we roll out the unlocking mechanisms. They unlock their pouch and they can take their phone out. It has had a tremendous impact on our building this year. And what I mean by that is obviously it's affected the academics. I've heard this from the teachers and from the students themselves. Even though the students begrudgingly, they hate it, but they begrudgingly acknowledge to me that I am more engaged. I'm not worried about the phone buzzing in my pocket. I'm not worried about what I'm missing. The other part about it, though, that I see as an administrator is it's really reduced the bullying, harassment, the pressure that students are putting on each other by putting a snap out there about what they're seeing during the school day. It's really reduced a lot of the drama that we've seen during the school day, and honestly reduced fights and other things. So it's been a real positive. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you. I hope you are excited about coming to the high school. There are tremendous opportunities. As we said, when you exit the auditorium, you want to bear left and go down that hallway. That'll take you straight to the large cafeteria. All of our instructional administrators will be there and our counselors will be there if there's any questions you have about coursework for next year. And again, thank you for coming. And this presentation will be posted on the YouTube channel and on the website. Thank you.